But you know who had a home and didn't want that home? Our next story.
Modern black women. I'm sorry. I thought that was
wow.
The hate is so
rhetorical.
real.
You answered that out.
Shade.
Oh my
Hey, that's like that
gosh.
black business with
You said that
potential, I
out.
guess, huh? But anyways, so we watched a clip of this video where this woman basically shared that she left her husband because despite being financially taken care of, despite being a housewife, because she was unfulfilled. She wanted to fulfill her dreams or have him help him get to his dreams, make his dreams bigger, whatever the case. But basically, she was like, she hated being a housewife. She was like, cooking and cleaning was not for her. She had bigger ambitions and she just was tired of it. And so she left. So here's my question to you guys. One, was she tripping? No, just kidding. That's for those men who like to say, oh, you could be a housewife, knowing damn well. Okay, I won't even go there. Let me stop that. But anyways, was she tripping? Now that actually is my question.
You know, I got something to say about it. Should okay, I'll go there. So look here. So I think she's fair, right? At first I was like, man, she just can't be happy, right? She got everything. And I was hard on her in my mind. I know some of y'all are. But then you ask yourself, if being a housewife is a job, right? It's having been a house husband at one point in time, right? A house grandfather, whatever that. I don't even know what I do sometimes around there in certain periods of my life. Listen, it's full time. It's a lot of stuff going on, right? So it's a job. If you are allowed to change your job. If you're not, that's indentured servitude or slavery or something. Why can't she change her job? What's wrong with that? She got ambitions. If I'm working at Kentucky Fried Chicken and I don't want to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken no more, I should be able to say, I don't want to be a fried cookie. I don't want to do this no more. And I should be able to walk across the street and go do something else. Why is it because I suddenly took a job with the person I married to that I'm stuck at this one job? How's that fair?
You're right. So you're advocating for her, Jay.
I'm advocating for her. I was
That's
down
what's
on her
up.
and I said, girl, do your best thing. Live your best life.
That's
You know what I'm
what's
saying?
up.
Don't go back and forth with them niggas.
That's what's up. Okay, Jay, supporting black women. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's a time. It comes a time.
Yes. Go ahead, Delvin.
What bigger dream did she have? I'm just trying. Because usually when I see this shit, is really the bigger dream is going back to the streets and random niggas. That's usually what the bigger dream is. I mean, we hear all the time on social media, oh, I want to live the soft life. I want to be a housewife. I want to be a kept woman. This is it. You are living the dream. There's plenty of women, now that I guess your husband's available, that, they'll just, slide in and take. There's people who want your job. The women are going to slide in there, especially when they found out you wanted to leave him to pursue your bigger dreams and not support your family. And it's cool. I mean, I hope the streets welcome her back. It was a Tia Mowry. The streets didn't welcome her back. Now she's trying to go back home. They didn't work out. So that's a cautionary tale. But she'll find out. So I'm just wondering if her bigger dream is to be for the streets.
So first, I just want to say I saw that shade you threw in there about her abandoning her family. Basically, I saw that shade. Just want to call you out on that. She may not have abandoned her family to live her bigger dream. So, but Tia, I saw you pop off mic. Go ahead.
I don't even know where to start because the woman don't want to be married no more. She want to be a hoe. That is crazy to me.
That's all it's waiting.
That's crazy that you think the only thing outside of marriage and being someone's wife is all that's waiting for me. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I think that's where men get kind of caught up in the thought that, the roles that are shaped for women are also shaped by men and how it benefits them. So of course, me being a housewife and a good mother and a good housekeeper benefits you. And so that is where you would like me to stay. And then you want to call it comfort. But some of us, just a small percentage maybe, have abilities that exceed that and other options. And a wife may not be the end all be all. And maybe there's something about him that doesn't make it as appealing that makes my replacement very, very easy. Take him. If I wanted him, I wouldn't be giving him up and forfeiting it. It wouldn't be a sacrifice if I wanted to be here. So I don't think she has to go to the streets. I think she might want to go to the jungle and live as a missionary. She could go on a 1-bedroom studio or be on a houseboat going around the world. But if that fulfills her beyond him, then let him be mad. Let y'all be mad too.
I co-sign on all of that, all of it. And I'm just gonna add to answer your question, Devin, while you do that shade. She actually stated that she wanted to fulfill her dream or at least help him be bigger in his dream. So she was even willing to be a helpmate to him in that regards. Now, some men would say, well, that's what she was doing by cooking and cleaning. But was that really what she was doing? If she was like, hey, help me with skills, help me learn some same skills that you have. Some men was like, oh, well, that means you're just trying to compete with him. And the whole time she was saying these things, she was saying it for the purpose of, no, I just want to do more. I am more than just this. I am more than that. And so I think sometimes when men get in this relationship, they automatically pigeonhole their woman, some men pigeonhole their woman into these gender roles and these gender expectations that may not necessarily meet that woman's needs. Now, at some point, she may have been cool with being a stay-at-home wife, and she could have, but like Jay said, it could have been some involvement. It's a job. It's not something that when she said she hated cooking and cleaning, I can relate. I tried to stay at home for a whole 6 months when I had my baby, and I hated it. Now, I love my baby. I love staying home with him, but I hated everything else that meant being in the house because it was not who I am and it's not who I wanted to be because I also had dreams. I also have ambitions. So I can relate to her in that sense of not wanting to be pigeonholed into just cooking and cleaning. And so I'm just going to say this. At the end of the day, if this is not what she wanted, and if she expressed her concerns to him that she wanted to grow and evolve in that relationship, she had wanted to work or whatever, then he should have also took that in consideration and took her needs in consideration and not just his needs and his wants and went ahead and let her be what she wanted to be within that relationship. Otherwise, she did the right thing by stepping out because, i.e., leaving the relationship to pursue where she wanted to go and where she wanted to be. Now, 10 years from now, she come back like Tracy Ellis and like, oh, I regretted the decision. Then, oh, man, that's fucked up. But at the same time, let her get to that. So I think that he failed in the sense that he didn't recognize what his wife wanted. He didn't honor what his wife needed. And then she found her way out the door because she realized she needed to meet those needs on her own.
It's funny.
No, go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Delvin, man. Please, go ahead.
So let me get this straight. He's whatever he's doing, running the business, doing big things, and the premise is, I don't want your help. Get back in the kitchen. Because is that what I'm hearing?
That's the way she made it sound like. That's
I
how
want to
she
hear
made it
from him.
sound.
I need to hear his side of the story.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Oh wow! Not pulling the woman
code.
card. That's what that is.
So first of all, damn, all the for people who actually listen, you can hear people's implicit biases when they, right? Because this situation, what do we know of the situation, right? So she was married, I'm assuming, right? Is that right? She was married, she decided to leave the relationship and her children. And the reason why she chose to do it was what again? What was the reason why she chose to leave?
So I didn't hear her say anything about leaving her children, but she chose to leave the marriage because she had bigger dreams.
Okay, got you. So she chose to break up the home. Can you answer the question as to the reason why? Why? What was the reason why?
I just told you why. She
was
said,
unfulfilled.
I only watched
The reason was
things that you
unfulfilled.
watch.
Was it unfulfilled, right?
That's what it sounded like, yes.
Okay, cool. So at this point in time, all we know is that she just felt unfulfilled, right? She talked about doing dishes and cleaning the house as the reasons why. And I'm calling cap on all of that. Y'all don't understand how ridiculous some of this shit sounds. Now, it's probably a made-up scenario that provides us with an opportunity to have a discussion, right? But let's talk about like commitments that people make, whether it's covenant before God, whether it's covenant before your family, whether it's a promise that you make to your partner, whether it's care for your child, right? The litany of reasons, right, that a person would just say, hey, I'm going to leave this thing, right? Y'all just make it sound like, I get it. I'm not saying a person shouldn't leave, but honestly, some of that shit is just in your fucking head. Some of it is, right? Because I think one of the things I realized for me is like I can change a perspective. Reframing is a word that I love. Because oftentimes you can take the same situation and if you reframe it, you're going to have a different perspective on it. Maybe you see it differently. Maybe you have a different level of appreciation. There seems to be this reframing when women are making choices that they thought they were supposed to make. And I get that y'all saying, hey, oops, I changed my mind. That's cap. That was never you to begin with. Let's start there. Like, y'all be wanting to give everybody the passes. I think there are far too many women who are stuck to the programming and they're making these decisions without taking the time to look within themselves on whether or not this is something that they really fucking wanted. right? And if you are one of those women who did that and then you decide to break up your fucking family, that is on fucking you. Don't blame that nigga who probably had the conversations with you to try to figure out what the game plan was. You went along with it. Okay, fine, you changed your mind, but own up to the fact that you got into something that you didn't even know for real, that you wanted to get into in the first fucking place. One of the other topics, sidebar, and we're going to have today, we're going to talk about in this show, was whether or not women want to be married, right? And this kind of topic was close to that because if some of these same women in truth don't really want to be married, they just want the wedding. So then you get the wedding and then you realize, oh shit, there's responsibility that comes with this thing. And you think it's okay. Y'all as women think that it's okay to say this shit out loud? Right? Get some fucking therapy. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what's going on with you that you're not happy. I have a family member, not going to mention her name. She constantly felt like she had to move because whatever was wrong had to be in that city. And at some point, I realized I was talking to her, or maybe she realized it wasn't the city because you carry you with you wherever you fucking go. The fuck are we talking about? Right? Lastly, and maybe this is chauvinist to say to a certain extent, but I'm sorry. God blessed y'all or cursed y'all, it sounds like y'all are saying, with the responsibility of motherhood. I'm sorry. If you don't want that, cool, opt the fuck out. But then you make choices that come with responsibilities. We hold niggas to a certain level of responsibility, not because just they're men, because they're fucking adults. You make choices and decisions and you make covenants and shit. And then what kills me is y'all women in general act like y'all don't understand what men are saying because y'all complain that niggas don't want to get married. And then you create an environment that makes it seem like y'all don't hold marriage to the same standard that niggas who want to get married would hold it to because we don't quit like y'all. At least that's a perception. And then y'all would turn around and say niggas don't want to marry y'all. Well, make up your fucking minds. Now, either going to be like, hey, we're going to stand on some shit. Well, you know, as much as y'all motherfuckers are standing on shit, wouldn't marriage be something to stand on? Or maybe, no, that's a little bit more that foundation is cool. So miss me with all the other shit that y'all are talking about here. And lastly, this bullshit about cooking and cleaning. Are you serious? Are you serious? There's no Uber. Uber don't exist. Uber Eats don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Meal Planner don't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be creative. You can't figure out ways to manage a fucking home, but y'all can manage fucking billion-dollar businesses. But managing a home, oh my God, that bar is a bit too high for y'all to figure the fuck out with all the goddamn education y'all got. And you expect a logical thinking person to hear this shit and y'all think it's rational, right? Y'all want to leave commitments because you feel some type of way, right? You want a nigga to commit to you and who's not going to leave you, regardless of how fat you get, how lazy you get, how sex trash falls the fuck off, but you still want a nigga to hold it down there, right? And then not get no pussy on the side. All these different things. But it's too much to ask for y'all to evolve with a nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I would agree with y'all, but there's way too many niggas out here talking about how they're willing to compromise. They're helping around the house. They're helping with the kids. So no, miss me with this. Oh my God, it's 1970s and we all got to do all these fucking things. Nobody told you to do all that. You chose to fucking do that. So yes, you can change your mind, but then yes, you got to be accountable for that mistake that you made when you didn't know yourself well enough to make a better decision. And now other people got to pay for your ignorance and self-discovery. Stop playing with him. Stop playing with me. Come on, man. Come on.
So,
Come on,
first
Tia.
of all, oh, go ahead, Tia.
No,
You don't even want none of this smoke. You stay over there. Because that whole rant that you just said was so faulty and convoluted that most women, that's the reason why we leave. Because you're so busy screaming and hollering at yourself about your wants and your needs that you don't have time to slow down and listen to when I'm telling you that you're not making me happy. And lest we forget that Viagra, Cialis, the honey pack regimen, and the gas station pills are y'all best friends. Lest we forget that at 35, if you drink a little bit or you work out too much, that dick don't work. It's a million reasons why we may not want to be with you that has nothing to do with our integrity, our character, or our domestication. I might not just want to wash your funky ass dishes, no matter how much money that you make, because I don't like the way you smell. I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you walk in the morning. I don't like the way you itch your butt. I don't care. It might just be you. And if I don't want to be there, I have a right not to be there. That's why divorce exists. The way you present it makes it seem like women are the creators of most of these separations, and that's not the case.
Well, see, it's funny you said that because when you said the way that I presented, I was very specific, right? Very specific. If you didn't know yourself well enough, you thought you wanted to be a wife and what came with it, and you didn't know yourself well enough. And so now you got other people counting on you. And because you changed, like, oh my God, I don't understand. Like, listen, man, as a person who lives in his head, I mentioned reframing, right? Come on, man. Some of this stuff is in a lot of people's heads, being on social media too much, watching other people. Like, you're a therapist, right? So let me take a pause for a second. How much do you think, because there's studies that talk about the influence of these things in terms of people's discontent, right? Kids, the numbers of fucking suicides that are happening. So we can't pretend like these things aren't impacting people, right? Right? On some level. So when you talk about the dissatisfaction and not being happy, what the fuck does happiness have to fucking do about it? Like, y'all niggas are building y'all foundations on fucking happiness? Get a fucking hobby. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, learn some fucking arts and crafts. Y'all be too busy blaming other people for why your lives don't be happy. No, sis, the reason her life was not happy was because she was consistently making choices that was not aligned with who the fuck she was. And then she woke up one day with this realization, I guess, and now she's regretful of it. You either own that you was wrong or you didn't do the work necessary to know yourself well enough when you just changed all of a sudden.
She's owning the
Come on, man.
responsibility that she chose the wrong husband, and she's being accountable and doing something different. The theory that emotions shouldn't exist in marriages only exist outside of Western world. And here in America, in the land of Christianity and patriarchy and gender roles, right? We marry for love. We're the only people who marry for love. Other countries and continents marry for longevity, finances, lineage, land. There's a bunch of reasons why arranged marriages work. Although outside of the pedophilia and other things that are related in various cultures, the benefit of arranged marriage is that you learn to love each other through the navigation of these things. We're faulty
You're
because of
proving my
that.
point.
Am I?
You're proving my point. Yeah, you are. So you're talking about how marriages where two people didn't have this magical love seems to be more successful than this bullshit that we're on in regards to just moving with our feelings. My position was that maybe sometimes fuck your feelings. You dig what I'm saying? The same way that two people who didn't meet, who didn't date, are able to somehow forge love. You mean to tell me people with history, who chose each other, who have a commitment together, can't find a way to forge that too in the sake of the foundation that they both equally decided to make? I mean, I hate to break it to y'all black people, and this probably sucks to say. Maybe our generation is the last one that even should be talking about marrying for love. Fuck that. I don't know. You know how they say, like scientists say, oh my God, the climate is changing. If it don't happen by 2010, it's going, yo, we're over that cliff. Y'all niggas think we got all this time to figure this shit out, and y'all still want to be marrying for love? That shit is dead. These young people ain't on that type of time anyway. So maybe we start making smarter decisions. But I'm saying if she's in that position, she has a responsibility, I think, to her family first. And unless you can give me some more specific, concrete reasons as to leave the marriage, you not being happy is not good enough. I'm sorry. Do the work to articulate the shit a little bit better. And then when you start talking about what your issues are, for example, oh, you want to get a job, you want to be outside the home. You mean to tell me you can't have a conversation with your significant other and figure out how to change that? How old are the kids exactly? We didn't hear all this in the detail of the example, or maybe I didn't. So supposing the situation that the man was not willing to do those things. But I know for a fact that guys typically who want to stay married are willing to try some shit and try to make the shit fucking work. Right? He doesn't want to fucking lose his family. So if the opportunity is, hey, babe, you know what? I want to get back out there. Okay, what does that look like? All right, cool. Let's change some things around. Let's make it work. Right? So I'm saying just as much as y'all can lean on y'all analogies and make up your own versions of this, there's a version of this where she is just a selfish bitch who decided to leave her fucking family for her own fucking feelings. Okay? And there are women, unfortunately, who are doing that. And stories like these help to propel that notion, which is why I'm saying it's not productive, because men are seeing these things and they're not going to want to sign up for that.
So women are the reason why
You
y'all
talking
don't
about
want to
where's
get
the
married?
man at? I'm telling you why. Huh?
As a clinician, I see couples every day. I work with couples. I work with their dynamics and their relationships and how they come across barriers and bridges. There are times when a person has made the decision to be selfish in a completely healthy way. There are moments when you choose yourself over your circumstance and your situation, and you choose yourself. And we don't know enough of the dynamics and the details here to know if that's what she was doing or not. We don't know if he was beating upside her head and taking care of her like a lot of situations do. Men people who are in abusive situations want their marriages too, right? So there's this dynamic. It's not all true. But when you say do the work,
It's cap.
her work might have been done in therapy, and the therapist suggested go do what's right for you, honor yourself. And if honoring myself isn't being with the person that I was with 20 years ago, because he's not the same person, and neither am I, like you're talking like there's no upward trajectory and growth while you are with somebody. We exist and we coexist, but I'm still an individual. I still change, I still grow, I still transition. I may have grown into somebody that you can no longer keep up with. I'm gonna stick with you? Nah, that might not be my dream.
Listen, go ahead, Delvin.
Devin
Go
been
ahead,
trying to
Delvin.
get in.
Yeah.
No, no,
ahead,
go.
Delvin.
You go ahead, nigga.
No,
You
go
been
ahead, go ahead.
churching.
No.
This is
Tag team.
total. I just you can't do it. Guy, like they said, guys see this and they're like, look, I can work myself and put myself in a position and elevate myself enough to give you the gift of being a housewife, a stay-at-home mom. There's a gift. You know, the economy is like out there. It is trash. But that's not good enough. I can sacrifice and put all this stuff out there and go it out so you can be a housewife. And so wherever they live, I'm pretty sure if she's a stay-at-home wife or mom, he makes a pretty decent living. I really don't believe that he was like, listen, I know you want to go build a SpaceX or Microsoft or Apple, but you're gonna have to get your ass back in the kitchen. I'm just not buying that.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't. I'm sorry. That makes
So
no sense.
And
So
hold on.
if she want to go pursue her, if she want to go pursue her dream, what dream in general would have to be? I can't be with you. The dream doesn't work if we together. I just need one example.
Me.
Just
Okay.
one.
That's good enough.
Oh, that's one.
So this is a metaphysical self-discovery kind of thing.
No, Devin did what I said earlier. Guys try to solve problems, right? So he's saying that if she had a desire to do a thing, he would understand, try to figure it out, and it's likelihood that she may not have had one. And then go ahead, S&M, but you're adding stuff. This situation was proposed. It was set up in a way that's like, hey, I have this thing that everybody wants or thinks that I should want, but I simply don't want it. There was no discussion of there being any abuse or all the other things that I agree with you would justify maybe a person saying, hey, I'm choosing me, right? But can you also identify, though, Tia, that there's probably certain levels of selfishness that is not healthy, right? Like if
Of
you have
course.
responsibilities and commitments to other people, there's a point of, hey, so what we're trying
No.
to figure out now is where that line is.
Don't
Right,
If you
conflate the
agree
two
there's
in
a
that
point,
way.
Oh, that's what.
no, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, we both can agree there's probably a line, but I'm saying, like, but go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah. So there is a line, and the line is where I don't get to be everybody in a marriage gets to say, my wife won't do this. My husband won't do this. We all get to throw that flag down wherever we feel like it's most appropriate. But then we're then daring our partner to say, I am or I am not that person. If she drew her flag and said, listen, I think my purpose says I need to be this. And he says, well, my wife doesn't do that. Then she's got to decide, is she going to be his wife or is she going to be her purpose, right? And so if he's committed to the marriage, right, he'll go, listen, I love you more than I love the idea of my wife. So I'm going to stay with you and rock with you throughout all of our years as you grow and develop and figure out what you're trying to do and be, right? That would be marriage, right? But if the man create or woman, if the person creates a space, but it's the man's case, he's supposed to be the provider, right? If he creates a space and then she's like, yo, this ain't me. And he's like, yo, how dare you refuse this box I built for you? This gift, this nice cage. It's gold. It's got marble floors. But she's like, yo, it's still a cage because it's not my environment. It's not where I'm supposed to be. Now, should he have asked better questions? Yes. But you're supposed to be married. Give her room and space to grow. I think the reason, if she's leaving the marriage, then I have to assume, and we've all assumed something tonight, I have to assume that she's leaving because he drew a line and said, you can't be my wife and be X. And she said, well, then I won't be your wife. Because as long as they're both at the table and she's going, this is where I need to grow. And he's like, well, let's see how we can do that. I don't know why she would get up from it. And that would be not only selfish, that'd be beyond selfish. That would be petty and small-minded.
Jay summed up what I was going to say in regards to that line in the sand, especially when I heard somebody say it's a gift. Well, a gift for who? And the fact that you came in with the mindset that it's a gift already said that 9 out of 10, your mindset, not you particularly, but somebody who had the gift mindset will already say, but I'm doing this for you. And you have this that nobody else has. So why would you want anything else? And if it's a gift, then he would feel like he's reneging on his opportunity to provide her with that gift if she want to go do something else, because now it's a status symbol for him. I was able to gift you this. And if she no longer want to be part of that because she want to do something else or whatever, then that gift now becomes a burden, becomes that cage. It becomes that poisonous apple that was supposed to feed her, but now it killed her spirit. And so I'm just going to go ahead and say I agree with Jay because I don't want to prolong the point. And I know this twice in one, man, I ain't used to it either. It might be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dashiki
Y'all
from
deserve,
Taiwan you got on.
It
y'all
might
deserve
be.
each other.
But she can.
Y'all deserve each other on that. And listen, man, we can
Y'all
move
deserve
on.
each
But this
other
is
on
the thing
that.
I find probably the most interesting about this, right? Not interesting, this is typical, right? Because somehow it still had to be about him not allowing her to do X, Y, Z. We had to frame
It's
it
his
that
fault.
way. And it just can't simply be. So I'll say this maybe so in closing, okay? Ladies, I suggest y'all tap in with yourselves for real, and decide on whether or not you want to step up and do certain things. Sorry. Have real conversations with your partner. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Curse God for putting y'all in charge in the baby making department. Okay. Like find some reconciliation, get some premarital, postmarital, during marital counseling. Okay. Because I swear for God, I think some of y'all are creating things in your own head that's destroying families. I really, really, really do. Okay. And because as a man, and I'll land with this, right? Because it wasn't like everything was all good. I remember as a man thinking about divorce at one point in time. It was like, you know what? I had to go through certain things. Like, I had to stand on certain things. There was no way that I would be able to go back to my family or whoever, right? Or look at myself in the mirror and not have reasons as to why I was about to make this choice. And honestly, at the time, it probably was because I was unhappy. It was this fleeting thing of happiness, like, oh, she doesn't see me and all this other kind of stuff. And you know what happened? We went to therapy. And would you believe it? That reframing thing, you come out the situation and oh my God, it's the greatest thing these past 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So as a person who's gone through, whether it's been depression sometimes or there's different ways that our minds affect us, sometimes you realize that sometimes it low key really be in your brain. And so what I would do is try to find tangible things to make sure that it was not something that my anxiety was conjuring up. Make sure it was not something that I was imagining because maybe the chemicals in my brain was not working. So we didn't talk about things like mental health, which is a real thing, right? So I get that. And I don't want to come across like I don't have empathy. But what I don't have empathy for is like, because y'all avoided that. But what this story sounded like to me was yet another caricature of how women are just leaving relationships for the most ficklest of reasons. And that's what I'm pushing back on. Right? If you're talking about leaving for good reasons, 1000%. But if I'm pro marriage and I hear men saying that the reason why they're reticent is because they can't trust after they make the type of commitment to a woman in marriage that men are expected to make, that when they see examples like this and hear people on podcasts talking about it and women on Clubhouse or in the comment sections at a yeah, girl, yeah, it might have been one example, but those other people who become the choruses give the guys the reasons to turn the radio off on that marriage channel. And until y'all realize that, I don't think we're going to make any progress because y'all too busy pointing things at each other.